Hello everybody, how are you today? It's Sharon here from the blog I Restore Stuff, and we are on Essential Stencils page. So I've put some primer as a bit of a base down on this section here, but I want to be painting that white. So instead of using up all your good paints, you can use Fusion's Transition. It's called Transition. You can use my code I Restore Stuff at the Fusion link that I've got there in the description of the live also, and you can get 10% off your Fusion paints. But their Transition is made up from recycled pigments from all the other colours, beautiful colours that Fusion makes, and they pop it into here and make this about, it's like less than half the price of your normal pint of Fusion paint, which is like this. Today, I want to be using their brand new white colour Snowdrop, which is, the claim is that this is Fusion's whitest white. So if you're looking for a really bright white, it may take a few coats of coverage, but I want to have a look at doing that today. So this is all dry. I've used the primer in there, and that kind of just seals in the wood grain. So we've got a nice surface to go over. But the primer, the Transition, also helps if you're going from a dark wood and you want to paint a piece of furniture, for example, or a signboard. If it's going from dark wood and you want to paint that white, this cheaper paint, because it's made from recycled pigments, is it saves you on your nice bright paints. So let's get started. I'll pop this down a little bit better so we can see our project. And we are going to use a brush. I've kind of stirred it, shaken it up, so look how nice and bright that is. I'm going to get a good bit on my brush, but I don't want to go close to the tape. I did go over that, but you want less on your brush when you go over the tape, because we don't want too much on the tape or it might go underneath. So I'm going to start right about here, and then as I've laid it on and gotten rid of some of the paint on the brush, now I can move up towards where I've got the tape. Nearly finished that. And so that primer kind of helps to buffer the grain. We will need to. And I want to do the top in red. So I'm going to be using one of my favourite reds, which is that cranberry colour. Here we are ready to show you. Here's how I lined up our stencil. So we've got our bottom layer, which is our hearts, and each of the stencils has this little etched edge to show you where the edge goes. My board might be just like a millimetre less than the 16-inch round, because maybe they've done it in metric, created the board in metric sizes, I don't know. But you'll see on this edge, we've also got an etched line that travels around to show you where your 16-inch board should. So these ones actually meet on the line, so you can join them right there, and you'll see just a sliver of showing in and around the edges. So that's how I made my line, and I taped off that edge. So I lined them all up with the board, pulled this away, and then I sat my tape down on here, right up to the edge, and then I painted the white. So now we're going to do the same for the red. So we line that up, which is obviously it's lining it up right where my tape was, and then if I just put my tape down right over the white line, we should be good to do that red. So I want to make sure that, I hope that's really well and truly painted, dried paint. And I want to leave just a slight fraction of white there, because I don't want my, I don't want to show any of the wood. So I want to make sure, oh, I've got a little piece of hair or something stuck there, piece of fluff. I want to make sure that that is completely over the white, and I'm just going to go one little bit at a time. So I want to make sure the red completely covers over the white, so I'm leaving just a sliver of that white peeking out right at the edge, so that my red literally goes right up to, and maybe a little bit over that white, because I don't want the wood showing on there. So now just checking these sides that that's actually going to sit in line around the corner, and this one too. So this is all important stuff to make sure you're all lined up. And we're using Fusion's Cranberry, a beautiful deep red, rich red. Okay, and again, dunking my brush right in there, and I'll just go over this area first. Reds can be a little translucent too. Some of these highly brightly pigmented colours. And I'm just going over the edge of that tape, making sure I've covered that completely. And then one nice smooth long stroke along there. You could also stain these as well, that's another fun idea. Instead of making a solid coverage, you could stain it with the red. Some of those pink roses would look great, even the red roses that are also in that collection. This part at the top, but as you know, sometimes I like to mix things up a little bit, so I would like to mix this one up a bit. But I wanted to show you how this sits on here. We've got our hearts down the base here, so we'll be doing those in cranberry red, and pop that here. And I've got my cardboard right here so that we can offload my brush once I've dipped it in the red. We want a fairly dry brush to start our stenciling with, so we probably will use a couple of coats, only because we want to use a nice dry brush to stencil with. And we'll pop that off. Great. Tell him you thought it was on his wish list. Ink out, because I thought also that these scalloped edges, it almost looks like a little bit of lace. I think I might actually do that in that rose pink. Oh, I do have extra paint right here on my board. And away we go again. And I can do a nice swirly method because I don't have a lot on my brush. With some fun creative ideas. Okay, so let's have a look, see what that looks like. I'll bring that up. Don't want to tear any paint off. There, I'm going to use one of these today. From the same bundle, the Valentine's bundle that you can get next Tuesday, it'll be available. We're just showing a sneak peek this week. This one is called Faith, Hope and Love. And I think I didn't try this one before, I tried the other one. I think it should fit. Faith, Hope and Love, so you could fit that. Fits beautifully in there, don't you think? That looks amazing. What I would like to do, because I don't really like it if my letters are really close to the edge. I think graphically it kind of looks a little neater if they're just in a little more. So I want to make home the edge, and I'm going to make L here the edge. And I'm going to center home and this, and we'll figure this bit out later. We'll just finish that off, this tail, because it's just a flourish. I can finish that off right about here. Just have to put a little tape on it. Easy fix, super easy fix. Birds, we want to make sure they're going to tape down a little bit down here and here, so we've got them all in the right place. But I'm going to do nice bright white for that, which is our new colour from Fusion, Snowdrop. Okay, just a quick dry off here. A coat. We will see. We'll lift it up and see. I'll put my brush in a little bit of plastic. Turned out. Ta-da-da! And if you wanted to, also, you could use the detail brushes to just finish off these little bridges. If you just get a little bit of white paint and paint over them, you can do that. Just a little bit of toop, 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 toop. But that is, I think that's turning out cute. What do we think? And in just a minute, we will be choosing winners for our gift card giveaway. Pop you up here so we can say a final hurrah and hooray. And let's see if we can see those winners popping up on our screen. But that's our job done for tonight, everyone. Thank you for all your help. So there's our live tonight. We will see you again with another fun live next week. You'll have a great week. Bye.